Alright, welcome back. This is the Ultimate Guide to New World, Episode 7. If you're just joining us, welcome. If you're joining us again from previous episodes, welcome back. We've just picked up some quests. We're going to go ahead and leave the settlement and head towards the cannon tomb. We've got our musket. Got 284 cartridges or bullets, and we are ready to rumble. So we're not too far away from the cannon tomb, about 100 meters to go. These concrete orbs are a good sign that you're in the right area. Of course, you can always use your map. Now you can see the yellow diamonds above their names. Anytime you hear that ding, that means that we got the kill. So we're looking for the ancient crystal shards. And that's dropped by these guys. They're those bags. And I just revived that guy, I guess. Or maybe I didn't. I'm not sure. So here's a supply crate. It's usually a good bet that the supply crate or catch is going to have a quest item in it if you're supposed to be in that area. As you can see here, all of these guys are counting as quest mobs. They might not drop it every time, but they do drop them. So as you can see, the respawn rate is really high. I'm pretty fast at dispatching these guys, and they still respawn faster than I would like them to. Got stuck there in the corner. So the orange numbers are when you land a headshot. You want to get the headshot as much as you can. Once you upgrade through the skill mastery for your musket here, 3 headshots in a row in less than 5 seconds gives you an instant reload for free. So what that means is shoot, reload, shoot, reload, shoot, reload, shoot, and then you can shoot again. Like 3 shots and reloads, and the 4th shot is just automatically in your gun as soon as you finish firing the 3rd shot. You don't have to reload. And that allows you to get a 4th shot in before a mob hits you, depending on the distance that you're starting from, of course. I like using range because I don't like having to run. But, you know, you end up running over there anyways. Dividing stones. So, also another quest item that we got out of the crate there. Like I said, I like shooting them because you don't have to run over there. But if you have a quest item that you're trying to fight these mobs to get, you kind of got to go in there anyways, unless they come to you and then drop it. In this case, they were dropping one quest item, but the other quest item that I still need to get is inside those crates. And so we need 1 more of those divining stones. We already got the 10 ancient crystal shards. There's our last divining stones. So we're done with this quest. The question marks are always good to run by. If you're in that area, you get the little XP for the discovery. it can get a little tiresome just doing headshots over and over again. I feel like maybe they should do a little more damage. It's only doing like, 25-30% more damage for a headshot. Some other games, a headshot's instant kill. So maybe finding some sort of middle ground. Because just because I'm really good at shooting and I get headshots a lot doesn't mean that other people do. I mean, how many other people are going to get 4 headshots in a row like that? 5. So, it's unlikely. And in order for the musket to be good, you've got to be good. You've got to get good. If you can't aim, you can't pump constant headshots, it's definitely not going to be more DPS or damage for you to be using a musket. Or an arrow, for that matter. I think the arrow's harder because you got to compensate for time and distance. Not really with a bullet. Bullet's instant and it's pretty straight. There's not much drop to it compared to an arrow. So, run into town here and we'll go check in with the syndicate and turn in those syndicate quests and get some new ones.
Well done, Initiate. I had a feeling you'd come through. And indeed, these stones are similar to lithomancy stones. And the shards, we shall have to investigate further. Not yet, but in time. You have already proven yourself worthy of joining the Syndicate. Now, you must learn that patience is a requirement as well. Glad to cast eyes upon you again, friend. Have you returned for more adventure? You can turn your armor purple to match the Syndicate banner. Remind people who you are.
Now, as you can see, there's PvE quests for your faction, Syndicate. So I've just accepted 3 more. And then these are the PvP missions. And in order to do PvP missions, you gotta hit U when you're outside the town so that you flag for PvP. And then you've got to finish whatever the objective is. It might be, it says, you gotta disrupt somebody or gather intel. Personally, this time around, I'm just sticking with the PvE. I love PvP about games. Don't get me wrong. But I just didn't have enough time. I wish I had more time during this beta. But I didn't. Personally, I just didn't. And so we just sticking with the PvE quest lines right now. But that's okay with me, because that leaves the PvP quest line for the actual game, which I'd prefer that too, because I don't really like, getting the PvP kills, and it's thrilling and fun and all, but it's just all going to be erased anyways, so. I'm a little lower on the food chain here. I don't know if you can tell running through the town here, but they're already level 30s and 40s. I'm only 16. And the reason for that isn't because I suck or I'm slow or I'm not playing enough. This is the second character I rolled on this closed beta. And what I mean by that is I made a character on a different server when it first launched. The experience was a lot different because there were so many people and there's a bottleneck. It was kind of glitchy a little bit at first because there were so many people in the same area. Service didn't crash, so that's good. But it wasn't as smooth as it is now. The experience wasn't exactly the same because everybody was like 10 fat kids fighting over one cupcake. So, re-rolling this guy, I wanted to try out a different server, and my suspicions were right because in the first server, it was a different settlement that I started at, and it was also a different settlement that was like the primary big settlement for that server. In this one, it's westward. It wasn't in the other server, Antilla. So that being said, I'm glad that I did have the experience of getting a level 15 and then re-rolling and going higher than 15, because I got to see the difference between servers and towns, and which towns I think are better. I think that as far as the beta goes, the towns that got more developed were the ones that were closer to where more people started. And I think that when the game actually releases, it's going to be more people are in the better cities that might be farther away once the game gets going. And I'm just going to, personally, I don't want to invest in the wrong city. So when it starts out, I'm going to try to get to the other cities as early as I can so that I can try to, work on the proper city instead of like working up one city, having to switch and go to another city and start over. Of course, eventually you're going to, want to get max faction with all the cities, and that's fine, and I'll probably end up doing that. I've put enough time into MMOs in the past that I know that if I just don't get banned and I don't do anything that's bannable, eventually it'll get max everything if you're patient and you put the work in. So this is Fort Keep Windsward. Non-Validus owns it, which I'm part of. And I just basically ran through it as a shortcut and to check out what the fort looked like. Looks pretty cool. I know that you can use siege weapons. I don't think that there's enough people playing beta to really have these wars and sieges happening. I know that it happened on a couple servers, including the one that we're on now. This is Atlantis server. But it definitely happened on here. It's not going to be like World of Warcraft Battlegrounds on a Friday night where you're getting like 3-minute queues, which is actually like a thing in the past, but it won't be like that for at least the first couple of months, because a lot of people are going to be leveling up at their own rate. A lot of people are going to be getting their skills up and gathering stuff, going back and rediscovering content that they skipped, or trying to get up reputations that they skipped. And while it is a race to endgame level 60, you want to make sure that you're playing the most efficiently, because in the past, in other games like this one, I've invested a lot of time into certain characters, and just to find out later on that I didn't really want that or whatever. That's really cool about this game, that you can just wake up and decide, oh, I want to be a mage today, and just go respec, put some new gear on, and you're a mage. So that's really cool. Don't have to waste all your time doing multiple tunes and stuff. And so I think this game is going to be more like oriented as far as like beating high scores, as first it'll be levels and then it'll be XPs. And what I mean by that is, like, in RuneScape, the number one guy forever was Zezima. Zezima was in first place. He was one of the first ones, if not the first one, to hit 99 everything, which put him at the top of the list. But then other people eventually hit 99 everything. I mean, thousands of people hit 99 everything. And a lot of them cheated and used bots. But here's a bison. So you gotta skin the bison to get the quest item. And it only lets one person skin an animal at a time. So I got this one. But in the near future, you're gonna see he's gonna steal one off of me. So I didn't steal this off of him, but he ends up getting one for me. So the bison dropped a premium hide. Interesting that he didn't skin his that's just sitting here, but he wanted to get mine. Oh well. So I got both. Lucky me. Now what I did notice about the Highlands bison is once it becomes a certain time of night, they stop spawning. They're more of like a daytime mob. Now as you're progressing through the game, you'll run into nodes like that fire magma rock thing over there, or this nature tree, and you just don't have the skill that you need to cut it down. Here's another bison. So this bison's running because it doesn't know where the damage is coming from. Can't really blame it. I mean, getting shot like that's gotta be like getting attacked by beasts. You just feel it hurting, but you can't see them. You hear it, and you can't see them. So here, this guy took my bison. Different guy, though, I think. Anyways, the bison stop respawning after this guy here. Now this time I know that I gotta be close enough to get it. So you want to make sure that you're close enough before you kill it. Barely beat that guy. Because if you might get the last shot and get the kill, but it doesn't matter if somebody shows up and skins the animal before you. So. I do think it's really cool though that New World's like requiring all of this sort of like actual realistic stuff, like skinning animals and getting meat from them and then cooking them and turning their hides into gear and, you know, usable stuff. And that's the way that human nature's been for thousands of years, for millennia. And I think that's cool because a lot of people are getting disconnected with that kind of fact of nature, and that, you know, at heart people are animals. We are animals, supposedly. So, with all that in mind, yeah, it's cool to be able to like step back into that naturistic human sort of pioneer world that New World is. Like being a pilgrim, sort of. You gotta go out and hunt your turkey and pluck it and cook the turkey up. And I think that's gonna be really useful because like a lot of these kids and these new generations, they think that there's like wild chicken nuggets out in the prairies, and you know, the harsh reality of when people learn about where their food come from is a little shocking because it's so sugar coated, really. And I don't think that it doesn't need to be taboo or wrong that like food comes from animals. Personally, I think the way the Native Americans think about it's really cool. You know, they would use every part of the animal. If they're going to take the animal's life, they have to use the whole part of the animal. And what that means is like, you're not just killing animals because you can, because that's just wrong. So, you know, the Native Americans believed that if you killed a fish, you should eat its flesh, and if you don't eat its skeleton and its guts, you should put that should be a fertilizer. And so they used to use a growing system called the Three Sisters method for corn and tomatoes and stuff. And what they would do is they would put broken eggshell and a fish carcass, I guess you could call it. It's like fish bones, whatever's left over from flaying the fish. And they put that in some worms and like leaves and stuff. They'll put that in like the potted area where they planted the plant that they're growing. And it's really great results. So what's going on here is a corrupted portal thing. And there's some other dudes here. And we're all working together to kill these corrupted people. And this is how we get the A's off, which is why I've jumped in. I wouldn't be able to do this without the minor corruption reached. Corrupted portal. Oh, I got insta-killed. They revived me though. What a bunch of homies. Cool, cool. Yeah, so 32, 42, those people are much higher level than me. I didn't realize at the time, but I got a bunch of Azoth from that, which later on was really useful on the last day beta, when I was just zooming around from town to town using the quick travel. And that uses Azoth, kind of like Ethereum for gas on your car. So in order to quick travel, you've got to have these off. I saw this guy in here and I heard his cool sound effects and stuff. And I learned that in order to interact with some of these orbs and stuff, you've got to have Azoth staff or whatever, Staff of Eternum or whatever it's called. Some sort of magic staff. And the reason for that is because you can't actually absorb any sort of energy from the corrupted orb unless you have the magic staff, because you can't like absorb the energy with a sword or like a musket. It's got to be the staff, and I wasn't carrying one on me, so I didn't really get to fully explore this little weird corrupted oil slick area with these creepy crawlies. See how I didn't have to reload there? That's because I had 3 headshots in a row in less than 5 seconds. So you get that free extra shot, don't have to reload. It's really convenient, adds up over time. So the outside of these look like iron blobs. There's that free reload again. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with these things when I'm running around. I didn't waste a whole lot of time, thankfully, but the quest that I was supposed to do here was to find chests for rivets or something. I was supposed to find something, and they ended up not being here because the corrupted area is like taken over. So I guess in order to do that quest, we'd have to get rid of the corrupted. Trying to kite this guy, but he's so fast. So this is the kiting method I was talking about earlier, about using a fence and strafing it. You like instant dive. But you can just jump on the other side of the fence and they're like, oh man, I gotta run all the way around again. Because they can't jump fences. So it's super easy. Looks like this guy might need a hand. Well, we're here to get the XP. I mean, it's not a lot, but... So he's using his staff. It looks like a plasma's kind of coming out of it. And he, like, blew up the corrupted orb. And I guess you gotta blow up all those corrupted orbs to, like, make the corruption go away. Kind of like curing an infection or something. But like I said, I couldn't help the guy. I didn't have a staff, so... I ended up moving on to the next objective. So looking back on it now, if I were to do the closed beta again, I probably would spend less time collecting and crafting things because it's pretty repetitive as far as the process of it goes. Knowing that you're going to restart the character. See, like level 45 harvesting, it would be nice if that rolled over to like have the 50 harvesting levels that I earned already. But I understand why they have to restart it. And part of me is looking forward to it because there were a lot of people that leveled up way faster than I did. They just played more and had more time. And I know it just got pushed back again, but when this launch finally happens, I'm going to make sure that I have the right amount of time to put in to stay competitive. I would like to be the first to 60, but the fact that there's already been people to 60 and I haven't been there yet means they're probably going to beat me. Unless I do some sort of like superhuman thing. So this guy's like thrashing. And he was a quest mob, which prompts me to come back and explore why did he attack me and why is he a quest mob. So I must have dragged him on the way over to this node. Here we go. Now, like I said before, if you don't get these results like shooting, if you can't aim and shoot like timing like this, then just use a sword, you know? A lot of people were like, oh man, I don't, you know, my wife was looking at it thinking, I can't play this game. It's too hard. I just learned how to WASD on World of Warcraft and how to run around and jump on that. And now you're saying I gotta walk around and look with the mouse, and it just sounds intimidating. But it's really not. Once you jump in and give it a shot, it's easy. Now, whether or not you're using a musket or a bow and arrow or staff, I don't know what this is. So I got disconnected or something. Using these things, I forgot what I was going to say. That's the way she goes. Sometimes you just forget what you're saying. So this is that kiting method I've been talking about. You just run over it, go to the other side, shoot them up from there. They get on your side, jump over to the other side. I gotta go back again. Need 40 skinning for the potbelly. Okay. Which is crazy because the regular pig is like whatever. These guys are easy to dodge their stuff. You just kind of strafe left and right when they throw something. With the amount of like shots from like this rifle reminds me of like the repeating rifle from Winchester or Smith & Wesson, and that reminds me of Red Dead Redemption. And when I'm making these reviews or voiceovers of the gameplay explaining the guide, and I hear just the endless shots, it reminds me of Red Dead Redemption. When you like first get your revolver and you're just like shooting everything. You're like, does this blow up when I shoot it? So you like shoot the glasses on the tables and the lantern outside and stuff like that. See if it breaks, or the interactive environments are cool. Looks like that guy reset too far away, or because I was in a different patch, he couldn't get to me. So you're going to want to time dodging. If you dodge at the wrong time, your timing's going to get messed up, and you're dodging before you finish reloading. And then you're basically just jumping and reloading, and you're never actually finishing the reload. Just keep restarting and reload. So you got to make sure that you're really getting it done the right way. I'm having an issue with pulling too many people, so I've come over to this other guy and kind of dump it on him. He's much more likely to mitigate the damage than I am. together and killed them a lot faster, and I didn't die, so. It seems weird that you can skin a wild boar but not a pot-bellied pig, because like in practice, the boar's got to be harder to skin because it's so furry. I was under the impression at first that as far as the reputation benefits go for the territories, westward, for example, which is where we are now, all that area on the map that's highlighted in yellow belongs to westward, and so any of the territorial map upgrades that you have from your increased standing with that faction or that town, like Windsward, extends into anywhere in the area of westward. So anywhere in that whole region that's got the yellow area that we're in now, all of those bonuses that you get, you increase your XP or your harvesting or your reputation gain, whatnot, all that works in that area. So at first I thought, oh, why do I care about upgrading in this town? I'll just go to the next town and upgrade there. And that's not really how it works. There's another bison, but I don't need him for quests anymore, so I think this is the last one that I'm hunting. Somebody else ended up getting it. Man, I just had some sort of weird earwig looking bug on me. And I slapped it. Disappeared. Gross, man. So, sorry I zoned out there a little bit. That happens. Just running down the creek here. This is a fishing hotspot village. That's why everybody here is fishing. See, secret fishing hotspot. 3 stars. Obviously this little area is intended for fishing, and so you would come out to this area to level your fishing up, kind of like you go to Kirijama or whatever, and RuneScape, and go catch your lobsters there and go back and bank them and Draenor and keep doing that over and over again. Well, you'd like come out here, do all your fishing until you run out of bait or can't hold any more fish, which is a lot of fish. So you could do fishing for hours out here, get good stuff, don't need as much bait as you need in not secret hotspots. But once you're filled up, you can fast travel using the stone just around the corner. And so you can just keep coming out here and fishing and going back and cooking it and selling the stuff. And that's probably going to be really cool with the higher level provisioning skills like cooking and stuff, because everyone knows that the high level raid food is where you make the money. So I'm excited about that. That's how I always make money. EQ, wow. Food's always a safe bet because it's consumable as long as it has a real utility value. Some games there's no real utility value for food, so it's like nobody uses it. But this one is one of those games that does. So we just hit level 17 combat, and I don't know if you picked up on that or not, but we leveled up in combat from mining a rock. And I guess the reasoning behind that is I got 5 XP for mining that rock, combat XP. I don't know why it's giving me combat XP. Maybe that's so you can't just have like harvesting pures. Maybe it's so it's like, mining a rock is taking a certain amount of physical energy that would be building muscle. Like the active mining with a pickaxe is going to build your muscle. Maybe that's why it gives you XP. 35 XP for that rock. So like technically mining that rock gave me more XP faster than killing things with a gun. So you want to keep that in mind. Gathering things doesn't give you any XP. Let's see what this boulder gives me. 5 XP. 5 XP. So I mean, if you want to get technical, you wouldn't get weapon mastery, but you could technically level up all the way just from harvester growth. It might take forever, but 2 things: you'd be super rich, and the second thing is you would never need for crafting materials as long as you leveled up. You would always be able to make the best stuff you could wear. So that's why I like to try to keep it balanced, because it is nice when you're leveling up to have the right crafting level to be able to make the stuff when you can use it. Because what a lot of people do that are newer to games and they don't know how to like balance the life skills and the crafting along with the combat levels is, keeping it balanced, because you might get excited and go level up all the way, but then you find it was a lot harder for you to do the same quests and level up the same level. It was harder because you didn't have as good gear. You could have better gear if you spent time crafting. So it's hard to know. It really depends on your personal preference of what your objective is, what you're trying to complete, because if you're just trying to fight and you don't care about any of the crafting, then don't bother with any of the crafting. But if you want to play the game for the full experience of New Worlds, you should definitely be doing this stuff. And I know that sometimes it's repetitive and hard to just watch this, which is why the commentary is involved, and also why I've sped it up. But I appreciate you all hanging out and watching my videos with me. It's cool. I'm just getting started at this. I figured I'd take this opportunity. It was supposed to be a 1-month break after beta. So I jumped into beta. I practiced playing the game a little bit, learning how the mechanics work, because I can't go and instruct a class on how to do something if I don't have serious hours of experience under my belt. Ethically, I'm not going to be able to teach very well. So I went and I did the work, and I've done the betas. I've got recordings and footage that I've not published that aren't in these episodes from other characters, but I did all that so that I could better learn how to direct what's going on here. So I jumped in, I screen recorded, I played and I played. I tried to keep the videos around an hour and a half because it's like a manageable file size. When you get bigger than that, you get around 2 hours, you start having file size issues, like it's too big to email the files and things like that. So I like to keep them about an hour and a half, and then I'll move them over to Premiere Pro, the photo video editing software, and speed them up. And that way you end up getting to watch 30, 50 hours of gameplay in like, you know, a lot less time. Half as much almost. So that way it's not as painful. It's not like you invested as much time watching me play as I actually played. And, you know, a lot of these other channels, they're heavily edited. It's really, it's like ADHD food for your brain, you know, seeing the edits every 3 or 4 seconds, the frame changes. They've got lightning bolts going across the screen and all these weird sounds and stuff. It's just like too much. It's too much sometimes. So I thought about, what is it that I like to watch? Well, I like watching people play. I guess a lot of that comes from just growing up, having siblings and playing video game consoles with your neighbors and your friends and your brothers or whatever. And it's like a very social thing. And so it's like become a part of how, you know, our parents' generation, watching TV was like a social thing that was new to their generation. Like video games is kind of like that to ours. Because what a video game really is an interactive TV. Like, it's a TV that you can control versus just be served information. You can now create information. This is like its own show, you know? So, what I like watching like the full gameplay, but I don't like watching it at regular speed because it's usually really slow. So, I just sped it up. And I mean, instead of editing it, changing the screen every 3 seconds, I mean, the sped up speed keeps it entertaining enough. And then hopefully my commentary is not too boring. I hope that, you know, if you're at episode 7 here with us, hanging out, that I'm not too annoying. Obviously, you're, you know, cool. By the way, if you are listening to this, go ahead and talk to me in the comments or whatever. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Sometimes I get a lot of updates, but I do go back to my videos and see if there's comments, and definitely want to start taking advice or even constructive criticism. I mean, if there's something that you as a viewer think I could do to make the channel better or more worth watching, I think that there's obviously that natural progression where I'm just gonna practice doing this and start refining my method and getting better and better at it, so that when launch does come out, I'm ready to start producing really high quality, in detail, highly entertaining stuff for all you viewers. Everyone that's subscribed and all the nice people giving us the likes, that's really important. We're a relatively new channel. It's just me and playing games and sharing what I know with you guys and making these videos. And you know, I see other people doing it, and I think, man, it would be cool to have that job. You know, if you have to pick a job, if you have to pick any job, what would you do? And I think, I don't know, Asimov Gold's life looks pretty cool. I know he wrote that whole thing about, somebody wrote something to him saying how envious they were about his life. And he made a video responding back about how, you know, you shouldn't be envious of his life because it's not as great as it seems. And I think that everybody feels that way about their life. I think that even when you're in it and like everything's working your advantage and you're like a rock star, you know, it's a different experience. Tanning hides is one of those easier things. I've not really like created a lot of leather items. It's more like you got to create a leather strap for a sword. So it's like, see, it's like iron staff. Iron life staff needs leather, you know. So it's more like additional or almost like a secondary item. Iron musket needs leather. And so leather's like a handle material. I've got a lot of linen, but the problem with like the linen leggings and things is that like I need metal and wood and iron to like make linen things, and I don't think that that makes much sense personally, and none of the other games do that.
I've been hearing good things about you
Cool.
and your allies.
Deep
I believe you
Karate.
chose well in your allegiance.
Karate. I don't know. I just made this charcoal because I don't know. There's nothing else to make at the time, so. So, here is how eBay works in New World. So, I looked up iron cartridge I want to buy. This person's only got 7, but he's got the cheapest unit price, so I bought 7 from him. This guy's got 1,000. I don't want to spend all my money. So I bought like 300 shells. Those are all weapons. There's ammunition. Resources. It's all components for crafting. Apparel. Bags. Cool. So there's no shortage of weapons on the market here. I was looking for, what's the best musket that I'm going to be able to use soon. And that says requirement level 18, 303 damage. I found this other one. So I can use that, it's level 6, but who cares? I'm way higher than that. That's 29, 364 damage. So to be like rare and level 29, it only have like 10% more damage than the level 18 one. Was appealing to buy the level 18 one, but then I found one that had a little more damage, but I didn't realize it wasn't usable until level 21. So I ended up buying the level 21 musket here, not realizing that it is level 21. And so I had to hold on to it for a lot longer in my inventory without being able to use it. Ultimately, I should have gone with the level 18 one. Like, it was only 9 more damage per shot, but I had to wait like another 3 levels to use it. So. But yeah, when I reroll on actual launch, I'm probably going to be doing hatchet, rapier, musket. Now that I know what I know about needing to have a staff for corruption, I'm going to use a staff, but I'm not really interested in healing, especially since you can't heal yourself. I don't really want to be a healing bot, so. Well, anyways, that's the end of 7. Thanks for joining us. Give me a like, subscribe. See you in the next episode. Peace.